testing out the new feature that Boris basically didn't release but kind of just announced, and Josh Bardwell just put out a video on how to reduce the filtering on your Betaflight board. So I'm going to be testing this out today on my Multirotor Mania Mantis flight controller with my low profile Stretch X frame on DYS Storm 2300 kV motors, and Tattoo. We're going to be running a 4S for this test, and then maybe we'll do some 5S if the motors don't get too hot. So first step is going to be to plug into your computer. It's using a USB cable, and then we're going to go into Betaflight. Alright, so the first step is we're going to go into the CLI, and we're going to type get low pass, and we're looking for D low pass type, and right now it says biquad. So what Josh has to do is set D low pass type equal to PT1. So we're going to enter, we're going to save that, and then next what we're going to do is we're going to do a 30-second hover test. We're going to land and just make sure that the motors aren't getting hot to the touch, and if we're good there, then we'll move on to the next step. Alright, so we're going to do the 30-second hover test. One thing I should mention is I just flashed Betaflight 3.1.7, and we're doing completely stock PIDs. All I did was change my rates a little bit. So we're going to do a 30-second hover. Alright, so that was about 30 seconds. We're going to feel the motors. Motors feel fine. So we're going to move on to step 2. Alright, so this is step number 2. We're going to do a 1-minute fly around, bring it down and test the motor temp, and then we'll move on to step 3 if we're good. Motors feel good, nothing abnormal, so we're going to move on to step number 3, and then we'll do the 30-second hover test, and if we're good there, then we'll move on to the 1-minute fly around again. Alright, so the next step is going to be to go into the actual filter settings in Betaflight, and the first step is going to be to set the gyro notch filter 1 frequency equal to 0. So we're just going to hook up our copter to Betaflight. And then this is going to be in the PID tuning section. PID tuning, filter settings, it's one of the tabs next to PID settings. And then gyro notch filter 1 frequency, default's 400, we're going to set that to 0. And we'll just save that. Saved, alright. Disconnect, and then what we'll do is we'll do a 30-second hover and test the motor temp. And hopefully if we're good, we'll do a 1-minute fly around. Alright, so step 3, we set the gyro notch filter 1 equal to 0, and we're going to do a 30-second hover test. Alright, so that was test number 3. We set the gyro notch filter to 0, and Motors feel a little bit warmer, but nothing to worry about. So what we'll do is we'll fly around for a minute with these settings and see if we're good to go to the next step. Alright, so this is part 2 of step 3. We're going to do a 1-minute fly around here. Fingers crossed we can go on to the next step. I mean, it already feels really good at this point. I'm going to get a little more aggressive. Yeah, the prop wash is pretty much gone. Holy crap. On this frame, I used to have, I had a race flight control on it. I switched back to Betaflight for this test. Just because I couldn't get the race flight thing tuned. I was having some serious prop wash, but this thing feels freaking solid. Wow. Getting a little oscillation, but I think that's just 'cause it's pretty windy out here. Alright, I think that's good. We'll bring it in, check the temp. Yep, I think we're good to go on to the next step, step 4. So we'll take some more filtering off. Honestly, right now it feels really good. So if your motors get warm at this point, you know, it felt even good on the last step. So we're gonna keep going, see how far we can push it. But at this point, it feels solid. So let's see what the next step does for us here. All right, so step 4 is going to be to disable notch filter number 2. So we're going to go into Betaflight, and we're going to go to the PID tuning tab again. We got to plug the quad in first. Alright. PID tuning, filter settings, gyro notch filter 2. So we'll set that to 0. We'll save that. And now what we need to do is the 30-second hover test and see if we can move on to the next step. Alright, so this is step 4, part 1. We're going to do the 30-second hover test, and then we'll check our motor temp, and if we're good, then we'll fly around for a minute. Alright, let's see how we're doing here. Yeah, sometimes you can't really feel with your fingers, so if you put your lip on it, make sure your battery's unplugged first and foremost, but you can usually, your lip's a little more sensitive so you can feel that heat a little better. So they feel good, so we're gonna go ahead and fly around for a minute and see how this feels, and we'll do the next step if we can. I have a good feeling that this step's gonna be good enough. According to Josh, most pilots stopped at this step and it was fine. They didn't really notice a difference with the next step. So better be safe than sorry. So we'll run this for a minute, see how it feels, and then we'll get up in the air and we'll do some freestyle runs. So this is step 4. We're going to do a 1-minute fly around. We disabled notch filter number 2. Wow. I am feeling I definitely noticed a little difference, a little bit of an improvement. So, I mean, I think at this step I'd be pretty damn happy leaving it here and doing a little PID tuning. But man, this thing, I hate to say it, but it feels better than race flight. So hopefully the motors aren't too hot, because I'm really liking the feel of this right now. So let's bring it in. Yeah, alright, we'll bring this guy in. Check out the temperature, hopefully we're good to go. Alright, let's check them out. Definitely a little warmer, but not hot. Yeah, so I think we're good. We're good to move on to step 5, and you know, but honestly, like I said, right now it feels great. I just need to do a little PID tuning right now. It's running defaults, but we'll try step 5, see if it feels any better. From what I've heard, it doesn't. It's not really noticeable, but we'll give it a go and see how the motors do. So we're on step 5, and we're gonna totally disable the D-term notch filter. So we're gonna go into the PID tuning again. Go to your filter settings tab. And it is D-term notch filter frequency. We're going to set that guy to 0. We'll save that. And then we'll do a 30-second hover test. From the start, I'm not even giving it throttle. I'm going to stand back a little bit. Oh. Alright, so we're going to turn that back on because this thing is just taking off. As soon as I arm it and give it throttle, it's just gone. I couldn't bring it down, so I just had to disarm it there. So I'm gonna go with stopping at step 4. Feels awesome. I'm just gonna do a little PID tuning and set up some race gates and see if we can get some prop wash, but I don't think we're gonna be able to get any. But first impression is it's awesome. Feels great. I'm gonna be doing this to all my rigs, and you know, hopefully your motors can handle it. These are the Storm 2206 2300 kV. So if you have these motors, chances are you'll be able to run it. But yeah, we're gonna turn that last filter back on and do some flights. Kid, you get ready for his school pictures. Got a haircut. What's up? You gonna rip with me? Yeah, man. Cool. Brought the crowd. I got some gates. I only have like an hour.
say something that I hate to say. You may never hear me say this again, so listen carefully. Ready? You're right. About pinch.
Oh. Alright, so we just put the stock notch filter settings back on, and we're going to see, how much different it feels. I feel like that's the best way to judge, is going with the new version and then going back just to see the difference there. So we're going to do a flight and see if we can get some prop wash going here. Feel a little bit, yeah. I mean, it's ever so slight on the sharp U-turns, but it's definitely there now. It does feel a little bit less locked in, and I can hear some oscillation. Yeah, right there. On those throttle cuts, and then bring it back up.